Okay, hey guys, so we ran out of time in class to get all these done, so I thought I could make a video and you guys can check your answers on your own. Remember, try it first and then check it. Okay, so keep pausing so you can try it on your own. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the evens, starting with 2. So it's equal, right? So that means there's 2 possible solutions. So you just take what's inside and set it equal to negative 18 or positive 18. All right, if you have absolute value, you're going to have 2 solutions. And then you just solve these using your algebra. I'm dividing by a negative, but it's an equal sign, so I don't have to flip anything. There's nothing to flip. So x equals 6. And then here, same. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Divide by 3, divide by negative 3. And so I get x equals negative 6. And those are my 2 answers. All right, so number 4, you have to get the absolute value by itself. So this 3 is stuck to there, so it's not the distributive property because it's absolute value. All right, so I'm just going to divide by 3 on both sides. So that goes away, and I get the absolute value of z plus 7 is equal to 4. All right, and then now to get rid of the absolute value, I'm going to take what's inside, z plus 7, set it equal to negative 4, and then I'm going to take it and set it equal to positive 4. All right, and then I'm just going to minus 7 on both sides. So I get z equals negative 11, or subtracting 7 here, z equals, should have brought my pen home, negative 3. All right, those are my 2 solutions, negative 11 and negative 3. So coming down to 6, I want the absolute value by itself, so I'm going to minus this 5 on both sides. So I get the absolute value of 4 minus 2y equals, and then 9 minus 5 is 4. All right, then I just take what's inside, set it equal to negative 4, and then or take what's inside and set it equal to positive 4. All right, so I did one the opposite and then one the same. So now this minus goes with the 2, so this is a positive 4, so I'm going to subtract 4. Oops, it's actually over here. All right, so then I get, so that goes away. Bring down the negative, so I got negative 2y equals, and then this would be negative 8. All right, and then I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I get y equals positive 4. And then here, this goes away, so I've got negative 2y equals, and then 4 minus 4 is 0. So I'll divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. So y equals 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. So my 2 solutions would be 4 and 0. All right, and then so for 8, I've got a couple things I need to do. Remember, I'm going to add or subtract first. So this negative 3 is stuck to the absolute value. So this is actually negative 3 times this. So first I'm going to get rid of the 1. So I'm going to minus 1 on both sides. So that goes away, and then I've got negative 3 times the absolute value of negative x plus 2 equals, and then I've got a negative 9. So it's negative 3 times this absolute value. So I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. So that goes away, and I've got the absolute value of negative x plus 2 equals positive 3. And then now I'm just going to write my two equations. Take what's inside, negative x plus 2 equals negative 3. Write the opposite, or negative x plus 2 equals 3, positive 3. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this 2 here. It's a positive 2, so I'm going to subtract 2. And then I get negative x equals and negative 5. All right, so that's negative, like negative 1. So I'm going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So positive x equals positive 5. And then I'll do the same thing over here, minus 2. So that's negative x equals positive 1. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So now that's a positive x equals negative 1. And those are my two solutions. All right, so now I have an inequality because I've got a less than here. All right, so if it's less than, I'm going to nest it in between. Remember, you have a negative 15 and a positive 15. So I'm going to put, before I do that though, I've got to get the absolute value all by itself, don't I? I'm going to change colors. It'll be a little bit October-ish. So I've got to get the absolute value by itself. So I've got to get rid of this 5 in front. So now I've got the so that crosses out, and I've got the absolute value of y plus 3. So notice I still have the absolute value. All I did is get rid of the 5, and now it's less than 3. So if it's less than, I'm going to nest it in between the negative 3, less than, take what's inside here, y plus 3, less than positive 3. All right, so like with the equals, right, you had the negative 3, positive 3. And then now I'm going to get rid of this guy, so I'm going to minus 3 all the way across. So negative 3, that's negative 6, is less than y, which is less than 0. All right, so if I'm graphing that, I've got negative 6, 0, right? It's open circles because there's no equals, and then it's in between these, right? Right, less than, this is what an and looks like. Less than. So y is greater than negative 6, and it's less than 0. It's right in here. Okay, so now let's do number 12. I'm just going to erase this. All right, so now I'm going to get the absolute value by itself, so I've got to get rid of this negative 3 first. So I'll add 3 to both sides. That goes away. So I've still got the 1/2 times the absolute value of 2w minus 1 greater than 1. All right, now I want to get rid of the 1/2. So 1/2 times something, so you divide by 1/2. But you don't divide by fractions. What you're going to do is multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1. So you have to do that on both sides. Well, 2/1 It's just 2. So I'm multiplying both sides by 2. All right, that crosses out. And so what I've got is the absolute value of 2w. Oh my gosh, it's hard to make w's without a pen. Minus 1 is greater than or equal to 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so it's greater. So I'm going to have these ends here, right? So I'm going to do the flip-flop. Greater, I'm going to do the flip-flop. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do 2w minus 1. Just take what's all the stuff inside, and I'm going to flip this to less than. It goes from greater than, not to less than, and then flop. The opposite of 2 is negative 2. There's my flip-flop. And then I come over here, and I'm just going to write 2w minus 1, just like what's inside. Just leave it just like it is, greater than. You only do one flip-flop. Okay. And then now I just want to do my algebra, get that w by itself. So I'll add 1 to both sides. So I get 2w is less than or equal to negative 1. All right, divide by 2. And so I get w is less than or equal to negative 1/2. All right. And then over here, same thing. I'm going to add 1, add 1. So I get 2w is greater than or equal to 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. I get w is greater than or equal to 3/2. All right, so if I'm graphing this on a number line, all right, the negative 1/2 would be to the left. The positive 3/2 would be to the right. It's an equal sign, so I'm going to have a closed circle, and then it's less than, w is less than, so it points to the left, and then this points to the right. This is w is greater than 3/2. So this is my or. You can be this, you could be over here on the way over on the left, or you could be way over on the right. Okay, you can't be both places. All right, so that is that one. And you know what? Since that was number 12, so since I kind of wrote all over it, I'll come down here and then I'm going to jump down to 15. All right, so this is another greater, right? Greater. So I'm going to minus 5. Minus 5, you got to get the absolute value by itself first. So now I've got the absolute value of 3z minus 2 is greater than 4. All right, so it's greater, so I'm going to do my flip-flop. So I'm going to take what's inside, 3z minus 2, and I'm going to do the flip and the flop, minus 4. Instead of positive 4, it's minus 4, the opposite. And this is a z. And then this other one just stays the same. 3z minus 2 is greater than 4. All right, then I'll just solve this. So I'll add 2, add 2. So then that goes away, and I'll bring down my 3z is less than, let's see, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So I get z is less than negative 2/3. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing over here. Add 2, add 2. So I get 3z is greater than 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Z is greater than 2. All right, so if I'm graphing this, right, I've got the negative 2/3 is on the left. Open circle, and it's less than, so it's to the left. It's pointing to the left. And then this is greater than 2, so here's 2. Right, this was negative 2/3, open circle. I'm going to go to the right. All right, so that looks like a mess. So you're going to have to watch this video because you can't just look at the answer. All right, I made it look a little bit crazy. And that actually was the end of the practice. This transformations, this is what we did in class with the Quizlet. So remember, if it's inside, it's going to be horizontal. So this would be a shift. It's +3, so this would be a shift left. Three. All right, and then the 2 in front is going to be a stretch, right? A vertical stretch. By 2, right? By a factor of 2. And then the negative in front is going to reflect it. Right, so a reflection across, and it goes from here down to here, so it reflects across the x-axis if it's in front. So there's 3 transformations. There was 3 here. The negative is your reflection across the x-axis. The 2 is your stretch by 2. And then inside, right, here's your absolute value. So the +3 is inside. So that's going to be a horizontal shift to the left 3. All right. And then, so go ahead and see if you can do these other ones, and we'll check them in class. Thanks for all your hard work. Hope you had a great weekend. See you Monday.